to a place where you belong. Give you strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising,
Good evening, YouTube, and welcome to the Tune Review YouTube channel, where tonight it is Newcastle United versus Tottenham Hotspur match preview with myself, co-host Danielle, and a great good evening to Perchy. How are you doing, bud?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. I'm not very well, by the way. Flu has struck, so my throat feels like it's sandpaper at the minute, but I'll battle on. I'm sweating like a moose in the desert, but, you know,
Sweating like
I
a
will.
camel in the desert. It's more appropriate.
Well, all right. Camels don't sweat in the desert, though, Danielle. You know what I mean? They're
Right, you
hardened
don't
up with
know
that
that.
kind of thing. Yeah, right. Perchy, obviously, you know, you've heard the news that, you know, we said, you know, backstage there that it hasn't made very, very big news. The Newcastle takeover,
Only everyone
of course.
knows now.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on it being from Spurs, given how your Mr. Levy has really gone along for 2 years trying to block this thing, so he's not very popular in Newcastle. What are your thoughts?
He's not
on
very
it?
popular in Tottenham either, but
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, listen, like all things straight. I mean, fair play to you guys because listen, like, I mean, we could talk about the political side of things. I mean, we'll put that aside for a second, but it gives you guys hope up there. Let's be real. Like now, you guys can look at winning big trophies now because you've got backing. Because you look at the Man City model, and it's worked for them. They weren't in challenging for titles before Mansour came in. So, I mean, it just gives you guys a bit of hope to go and start winning stuff, really.
Yeah, it does. I mean, obviously, Levy's not very popular with you guys either for the way he's running Tottenham. I mean, if I'm honest, I think, you know, Tottenham should be challenging. The size of that club, the new stadium, stadium, everything is there to have a real go. But why is he so tight with money?
Listen, the financial, the way that he runs the club financially is great. Like in that sense, like, but the problem, what you've got now is you've got too many things now that have happened at the club where you've got so many different avenues of making money. The footballing side of things becomes second best. So like, there's so many people to and from on the side of like what, on what the club is sort of offering. But the problem is now when you've got things like the NFL now floating around, you had the is what ends up becoming is the stadium becomes a separate entity to the football club.
Of course it does.
So it's all about I jokingly on Twitter and stuff sort of go, now we've become Tottenham Hotspur Stadium Football Club. Because that's what really we've become. Is the stadium's great and all. Like, the stadium's lovely, but the problem is what's ended up happening is that we've now just the footballing siding's been completely decimated because of it.
Danielle, I know you were as soon as Mr. Levy's name was mentioned there, you were booing and thumbs down. I mean, you're not fond of him, are you?
No, I think anyone who tries to break away and form their own little league has no morality and no decision making over anybody else's club and what happens. However, it's the issue is purely with Levy. It's not with anyone else in terms of the fans and stuff. That, well, you know, that isn't what it's about. It's all about, you know, governance and who decides what.
Well, when all that happened, we were all in support of the Spurs fans, the Man United fans, the Chelsea fans, because none of them wanted the breakaway Super League. It was sprung upon them, just like it was sprung upon everybody else. I mean, it's bizarre in a way because the fans had no idea, did they? It was just sprung upon you at exactly the same time.
We literally knew about it when everybody else knew about it. When we heard all these rumors floating about, we were like, wait, what? And then everyone put the same thing out at the same time about the whole thing. And it's another one of the reasons, this sort of weird faction about this big six rubbish, and it's all a bit nonsense. And as I said, understand the understanding of it. It's all about making money, and the problem is it loses the integrity of it all. Loses the integrity of football in general, and that's the main thing. The problem with that.
Yeah, it was sad, but it's under the bridge now. It's just we find obviously with what Jurgen Klopp's come out today as well with highly hypocritical given what had happened, but I don't think he was any part of it either. So a couple of comments have come in. Cesare in South Africa, good evening. He's changed his name from This Is Me, so I can actually call him by his first name now. Mike says Steve Bruce can officially say on Sunday he's managed the richest club in the world. Yeah, even if it's just for one game. Everybody loves Brucey. No, they don't. You do, but nobody else does.
No.
Paul says, got to love John Sinclair. Paul's rolling around the floor at the minute. Good evening, Luke. Hope you're well. Paul says, come on the tune. Perchy's with us for the first part of the show to discuss the match, and then myself and Danielle will go on to Steve Bruce's press conference in the second half of the show. So we're mainly talking about early doors, the match on Sunday. Perchy, you guys go into it. I mean, Harry Kane's not hit the ground running yet this season. He looked very, very off for England as well. Yeah. Against Hungary. I mean, is there a problem there?
There is. The problem, in a sense, is like it's not necessarily with Harry Kane. The problem what we've got is we've got no number 10 at the moment. So when Harry Kane was firing, he had players around. You need the player that Harry Kane is similar in a sense with like Alan Shearer with you guys back in the day. Was you need players around someone like Harry Kane to give him the ball. And because I said when he came on against that crappy Slovenian team that we played in the Europa Conference League, came on and goes and gets himself a hat trick. I said to people that I was at the game, and I said, give Harry Kane the ball in the 6-yard box, and he'll score you a goal. He doesn't get the chance to score a goal. Like he's not a Messi type player where he'll dribble in between 3 or 4 players and score you a goal. Not that type of player. Same with Alan Shearer, was clinical in the 6-yard box. He was always scoring goals. That's been the problem. We haven't got a natural number 10. Lo Celso, who looks like he had a good international break with the Argentina, has been playing in that role. Is he the answer? I don't know. I'm still undecided about him. We've just got a really average midfield at the moment, really average, and it doesn't help because the way that we're playing. The thing is that Nuno's tactics haven't helped as well because it's just hoof it long and hope Son makes a run. That's literally how we've been playing it all season.
Similar to how we've been playing, really, isn't it? Hoofing it to ASM and praying for the best.
Yeah. He does come very deep, Harry Kane, and he does it for England as well, which I think frustrates a lot of people. I mean, is he coming deep because he isn't getting involved? He feels like he has to come back, or is it just?
I think that's quite crucial in what he does. Harry Kane is, regardless of what happened in the summer, like people still at the club have their divided opinions on him, still. But regardless of it, Harry Kane will put 110% in. I've always said that. Like the problem is, if he's not in the game, he will drop deeper and deeper. And the problem is then you haven't got your main man in the right positions, and that's where it all goes wrong. That's the problem.
Yeah. So on Sunday, I mean, is there any injury worries that Tottenham have at the minute that you know of?
We've just had news come through that there's 2 unnamed players that have tested positive for COVID who will be now out. But that's unnamed, so we don't know who it is. The praise that we don't lose a couple of big names because then we've already lost Sanchez to isolation. He's got to isolate for 10 days coming back from Colombia. It looks like the Brazilian Eberson's coming back straight away, and the Argentinian boys are okay to play because of they're allowed to play because they're flying back today. So they're supposedly allowed to play, the 2 Argentinian lads, Romero and Lo Celso.
Yeah.
But yeah, we lose Sanchez.
And obviously you've got Nuno in this season. He got manager of the month, I believe, in August, didn't he?
Yeah,
At the start of the season.
The curse of August, manager of the month.
Yeah, kind of gone downhill since then, hasn't it? I mean, what are your thoughts on Nuno? Is he the right man to take you guys forward, or is it sort of
lovely bloke, but the wrong manager right now? That's the problem.
Yeah.
And as I said, absolutely lovely bloke. His press conferences, he talks well, but the problem is he's not the right man. The issue is where is the right man?
I was going to ask you, that was going to be my question. So who is the right man for Tottenham?
Me, I've always wanted Graham Potter in. I wanted Graham Potter in at the start before we employed him, because up and coming, he's the right manager with the right sort of players will be able to get something out of him. Supposedly he didn't wanted to carry on his thing at Brighton, but don't know the ins and outs of that. But he would have been my number one. But it's just the Nuno appointment. I kind of feel bad for the bloke because so many managers turned it down and it went all, and it ended up being the like one that just took it. But I just don't see it working. He
found that
needs a
bizarre.
win this week.
The amount of managers that apparently turned Spurs down. I mean, why? I mean, is it Levy? Is it the fact that they would have their hands tied behind the back at Spurs and they wouldn't be allowed to express themselves?
Well, we brought in the Juventus bloke, the Italian bloke from Juventus, the sporting director guy.
Yeah.
And who's supposedly now the one dealing with transfers, but still one person at the top has to sign it all off. And that's our recruitment in the window was not good enough. We would a striker and an attacking midfielder short in a window, and that's the main issue. We haven't replaced Gareth Bale and Vinicius's goals from last season, and it gets a bit it's a worry at the moment. But
I mean, obviously Spurs they've had a few iffy results to say the least the last month or so. Do you think the international break came at the right time for Tottenham and they're sort of looking to this game? Because we know what the atmosphere is going to be like at St. James's Park on Sunday. It's going to be rocking before the game. It's going to be rocking inside the ground because of the euphoria. But we've also got to look at the opposition for that, you know, and Tottenham will come into that with the...
I'll tell you what,
could they thrive on it?
The worst thing for us to happen is to be... It was the most Spursiest thing ever to happen that you guys got taken over just before the game. Literally, because St. James's Park will be absolutely bouncing. And the thing is a lot of those players now have a big job. Like this is a momentous boost for them. Because a lot of those players in that team will be looking around going, I may not be here in 6 months, 12 months. My turn is to make myself keep myself at the club. So a lot of those players are, and the problem is you're playing Spurs at literally the right time. Literally the right time. We're being terrible at the moment.
It'll be interesting to see how Spurs do react, Danielle, because we know, obviously, with Steve Bruce now staying for the game, you know, is it his last game? Is it not his last game? I personally think it is, you know, but we'll come on to that a bit later. But the Steve Bruce has got a job on his hands getting the team that really, you know, we know Callum Wilson's back, but will they get the ball to Callum Wilson? That's the thing. You know, will they be able to break Spurs down? You know, we know this season we've struggled with that.
It depends on whether he goes with Bruce Ball or whether he tries something else. So is he going to play Joe Linton? And if he plays Joe Linton, then the ball's not going anywhere.
Might as well play Joe Linton. He always scores against us.
He always scores against Tottenham, Danielle.
I know, but
come on. When he went and beat us 1-0 when he scored. It was his only goal of the season.
Yeah.
Nah, not for me. And also, is he going to play with Isaac Hayden at centre-back?
No.
Please, God, no.
Well, he could play him at right back for all.
This is what I mean by Bruce Ball will tell by the formation and by the players in those positions as to whether this is going to be Steve Bruce looking to save his job potentially, or Steve Bruce just doing what he always does and giving a prime class of Bruce Ball for everybody in the stadium.
I mean, Percy, for an outsider, you know, looking in at Newcastle, we've seen so many pundits, especially on Talk Sport, etc., praising the job that Steve Bruce has done and saying that there's no other man perfect for the Newcastle job than Steve Bruce, even after the takeover. We find it all a bit embarrassing, to be honest, the way they talk about him, because you look at his record, he's the worst manager ever statistically in the Premier League. And he hasn't won a game yet this season. He went on a run of 2 wins in 20 last season. Any other club, he would have been gone. I mean, what are your thoughts on Bruce?
Wouldn't have him at my club, is what I'm saying. But the problem what you had is you're under a tyrant of an owner.
Yeah.
And you've got to look at it in both. You've got to put things in perspective. Was Ashley ever going to sack him? Probably not. Because did Ashley really care? Probably not.
No.
So you have to look at it. And for Bruce, it's a big job in a sense for him. Is he the right man? Of course he's not. And I don't understand the narrative and stuff. But the thing is the attitude is staying up for you guys was an achievement in greatest respect. However, the thing is now you look at it now and you've got ambitions now to be knocking that top 4 door down and pushing for trophies in certain aspects.
Yeah.
So yes, but will he go so quickly? For me, is it worth keeping him until January at the very least? Because the problem is because I watched someone saying that they'll put your assistant in caretaker charge, but
he doesn't want it. He doesn't want it. He's already said.
I only saw it the other day. But
that's what we were saying as fans as well. We were thinking, is he going to be, are they going to get rid of Bruce? Maybe put him in as caretaker until they found somebody else. But Graham Jones has come out and said that he doesn't want to go to number 1. I mean, with Steve Bruce, we thought it was a £4 million payoff he was getting. It's actually 8 if he gets sacked. So, that makes more sense as to why Mike Ashley didn't sack him. I find it astounding that he's going to get an £8 million payoff for doing absolutely nothing at the club. The thing is with Steve Bruce, he's had a dig at the fans, especially during lockdown when we couldn't get into the ground. He was slagging fans off for, criticising them on social media and things like that. And
we're all keyboard warriors.
Yeah. He's been seen to be very arrogant, and even in his press conference today, it was all about him. He said his exact words were, "The takeover's not all about me, but," and then went into about a paragraph of stuff which was about him. But his tactics have been terribly wrong. His team selection, playing players out of position. We've always said that if we have a decent starting 11. We can compete with anybody, providing he plays them in the right position, which he just doesn't do. And that's been our big frustration this season. I think on Sunday, Tottenham I think you guys will probably thrive on the atmosphere as well. Who wouldn't? If I was coming out of that tunnel to the kind of noise that's going to be on Sunday, it would motivate me.
Definitely.
Looking at the two sides, where do you think Tottenham's weakness could possibly be on Sunday that Newcastle could get at?
Depends, because we always seem to have an issue at wing backs. It depends how we set up. If he goes and plays Emerson and Reguilon, maybe I doubt he will. I think he probably ends up bringing Tanganga back in at right back more likely, because he'll look at St. Maximin as a threat, and he'll need someone more defensive there. Because if we end up having what we do is our 2 wing backs bombing up, you'll have all the joy in the world. Because we haven't really got a deep midfielder at the moment, unless hopefully Oliver Skip plays, which I assume he will do, because he's probably been one of our best players this season. So I look at it, that will be where it's won and lost out wide on both sides. Because I said, if you give Heung-min Son the ability out wide, he'll go and devastate the game and he'll destroy it. But if he doesn't have the space, he won't. And that's he's hit and miss in that sense.
Well, he plays normally on the left-hand side, doesn't he?
He's out on the left normally.
I mean, our right-hand side of defence is not great, if I'm honest.
No, it's really not.
We've tried Jacob Murphy there, as a wing-back this year. Then we've had Manquillo in, and then he decided to put Isaac Hayden there against Wolves halfway through the game, which absolutely astounded me. I felt like walking out of the ground. All the Wolves players were doing was just knocking the ball past him and running around him like he was a skittle. It was terrible. And I still don't know, and nobody's really explained to the fans as to why Steve Bruce put him at right back. It made no sense. But that has been a big weakness for us this season. And somebody with the talent of Son, who I would love, I'm sorry to say it, Perchy, but I would love us to go hunting for him in the coming months of the takeover.
To be fair, with the amount of money you guys have, you could put. He's just literally signed a 4-year extension on his contract. That will see him till 32 or something at the club. So if you want to go and spend stupid amounts, but they will though. That's the thing.
Yeah, so, that's the thing. It's without sounding big-headed, that's pennies to these guys. You know what I mean? But I think, and what I've been saying is to a lot of Newcastle fans is, yes, the money's there, but the really big players aren't going to be attracted to the club until they see Newcastle United regularly competing for trophies, i.e. the league, Champions League, FA Cups, things like that. Because they want to win things.
Yeah. I was talking to a few of my friends and stuff. We were talking about players that would be attracted, and the one player that if I was a Newcastle right now, all over and going in straight in for Coutinho from Barcelona. Mm-hmm. He's not playing at the moment. They want to reduce like their wages. They'll be happy to get rid of a player, but player like that, like just absolutely elevates the football club. Like straight away.
I would love Coutinho. I mean, I've heard
someone
fans
of that
say
sort of caliber. Because there's no real reason now where you're not balancing books at this early stage.
Yeah.
Because you haven't spent loads. So I was reading the old FFP rules and stuff, and supposedly if you were
we've got millions to spend before that affects us, but a lot of fans don't understand
you could spend up to 200 million quid on 200 million in January, and you'd still balance the books on that side of things.
Because Ashley spent
that's a sort of player that these sort of players that will go in for. It's similar to when Man City owners went straight in and bought Robinho, didn't they?
Yeah, they did,
literally and it's that sort of caliber of player. So I wouldn't be shocked if that sort of happens. I was talking to a few of friends and stuff. There's a few things that they would be after.
I mean, the thing is about Coutinho, some Newcastle fans have said, we don't want him, he's a bit too old or whatever. But listen, less than 10 days ago, we were shopping bargain basement free transfer players,
and
now we're suddenly talking about the prospect of maybe going in for a Coutinho in January, who would be a fantastic signing for me. Because what it is for Newcastle this season is just moving up the table, getting away from that relegation zone, which is why I think they'll add 4 or 5 players in January just to get safe.
You can't get relegated. That's the thing.
The proper building will start in the summer next year.
Yeah, and but it's a scary prospect for us at the moment as a club. Like for us as Spurs fans, like we're looking at going, we're looking further and further up now than where we were. We were in that top 4 battle for a good 5-6 year period, and now we're looking up. Same with Arsenal; they're talking about it in the same prospects as well.
Yeah, does that get so much at the new stadium? The comment on the screen there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking forward to the game. I think it'll be an entertaining game on Sunday because I think Tottenham will want to shut the fans up for one. I think they'll be very determined to calm the atmosphere down very, very quickly. And if Newcastle go a goal or 2 down, will they turn on Bruce? Will we turn on Bruce? Will the chance start again for Steve Bruce rather than the celebrations of the takeover? So it could go in Tottenham's favour that. Would
you take a loss on Sunday if it meant Bruce got sacked on Monday?
Yes.
Like seriously, like if it meant the owners looked at it and went, he's lost another game, we're going to get rid of him. Because he could go and win on Sunday, and then he's kept in until.
But that's just papering over cracks virtue, to be honest. That is, the way we've played this season. I think the new consortium, certainly, Amanda Staveley, who's sort of been the sort of face of it all, and she's going to be running the majority of things. She will have seen how we've played this season. She's followed the club for 4 years since she first came to the Liverpool game when the first interest in buying the club came about. So they'll know how we've played. They certainly know how the fans feel about Steve Bruce, which is why I just do not believe whatever the result is on Sunday that he will still be the manager come the Chelsea, Palace game the week after.
I think it'll be a totally Newcastle thing to come out though and play really well.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we don't know what to expect.
Honestly, I'm braced for it, mate. You just don't know what's going to happen. Like, if they come out and they play like we know they can play, and we win, like on the unlikely event that we'll win, by the way, it's just such a Newcastle thing to happen. And I still don't think it'll save Bruce. I think it's well past that now. However, it'd be very ironic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I never want my team to lose. Don't get us wrong. I don't. I just don't. But if I can't see us getting a result on Sunday. I came away from that Wolves game at Molineux, and I just didn't know where this club was going. I didn't know what was going to happen with Steve Bruce. I didn't know what the situation was going to be. As far as I was concerned, we were heading down. I think, Danielle, you said it on an earlier show. A lot of people came on a fan forum show that I do and were saying we're down. We don't know where there's any hope. 2 days later, we've got new owners. It's bizarre, and it still really hasn't sunk in with a lot of Newcastle fans where this club could actually go, given what we've put up with 15 years. But I think on Sunday, it's hard for me to see how the game will go, because if the players are fired up by the atmosphere that we will create in the ground, I think some of the players will respond to it. Some of them just aren't good enough. Simple as that. Whether they're up for it or not, aren't good enough. Mm-hmm. And that's my worry, because Spurs have a lot of quality around the pitch. I mean, what's your midfield like at the minute, Perchy? Because is that somewhere that can win the game? Because ours has been dreadful.
We're all over the place in midfield.
Yeah.
Nuno doesn't know his best three. Like he's gone 3 midfield, 4 in midfield. The problem what you've got is you've got Ndombele, who is talented. However, he's just a liability in certain aspects, defensively a liability. The problem is he's one of those players. He's a great highlights reel player, and I've always said this about, and I get a lot of stick from Spurs fans because I say it, but I want a player that will actually contribute in midfield. It's all well and good being able to produce a highlights reel, but we need 2 or 3 midfielders that can dominate. But the thing is, as I said, you get the ball out to Son out and Lucas out wide, we will be able to create stuff, because Lucas has been really good this season.
He's rapid as well, isn't he? He's absolutely rapid.
Top, really good player.
And that's my worry. If we stick Richie at left back again, it was the worry against Wolves that Richie was going to come up against Traore, but for some reason, Traore started on the bench, which was very, very lucky for us. But if Lucas Moura starts against Richie, my God, I mean, the pace difference is frightening. And Lucas Moura has actually got a finishing product, unlike Traore. Yeah. So it's a massive worry. And then you've got Son on the other side, who is one of my favourite players in the Premier League. I just love the way he plays the game. I love the way he smiles all the time. He just loves playing football.
Really nice, good player.
Yeah, I think any fan would love to have a player like Son in the team. And I think that's where the game is going to be won, to be honest, is down your wings.
So if he does it right, he will start Lucas at 10, Son on the left, and then he'll start Brian Gill, the young Spaniard lad that we signed from Sevilla. And then if them 3 can play with Kane at number 9, we have a really good opportunity.
What's the situation with Dele Alli at the minute, Perchy? Because he's been linked with us in the last few days. But it hasn't been met with a lot of happiness, to be honest.
I'll tell you what, I'll be honest, if Dele Alli went to Newcastle, actually think it would be the best move for him. Seriously, and you guys will end up seeing the best of him. Problem where he's got a bit stale at Spurs, where in the sense of it, he kind of needed that move away when it kind of wasn't going right, because the problem is it's that sense of new surroundings. He hasn't really got to work hard, and the thing is people sort of turn their noses about Dele Alli right now. However, if you went and signed him, tell you what, you could play him at number 10, and you get someone like St. Maximin out wide and stuff. You've got someone that will start creating stuff. But the problem is, as I said, it's kind of his Spurs thing is kind of not happening. I'm a big fan, but the problem is when you've got a player that's kind of just sort of slowly sort of petering out of it, it hasn't really worked.
Yeah.
Now,
did Mourinho ruin him, do you think?
I think Mourinho. The problem with Mourinho at Spurs was his ego was bigger than his ego was more important than the football club. So for example, there were times when you went you've got to play just because you've got an issue with a player, you still need to work on it, and it became a battle of 2 swords in a sense. It was either one or the other had to go, because otherwise it just wasn't going to work. But the thing is, as I said with Dele Alli, it's one of those. He could still go to any massive football club and still make a good contribution to it. The problem is it's the longer he sort of sits, this sort of bad patch he's having to an extent, is the worse it will become, and it will. I still think he can still play at the top level, but because he's still ability-wise, he's still got the ability. That doesn't just disappear overnight. Sometimes just new senior. I did say that PSG. He should have gone to PSG with Pochettino. Would have been an absolute great move for him.
I mean, if we did sign him, I'd love to see the Dele Alli from a couple of years ago, scoring goals, creating goals. I mean, he was all over the place. Certainly a thorn in our side when he used to come up to St James's Park, and you know, he didn't get on the right side of Newcastle fans by throwing himself to the floor on numerous occasions. But I would have him actually. I would. I mean, is he better than what we've got? Yes, I think he is.
Most people are better than what we've got. To be fair, though.
Well, that's a good point as well.
Yeah.
Listen, before you go, Perchy, thank you for giving us a bit of your time on a Friday night. Give us a score prediction and scorers.
Shall I go positive? I think I'll go positive. I'm going to say 3-1 Spurs.
Right. And who's going to get the goals for you?
2 someone, Harry Kane. I'll open his account.
Yeah. Well, it would just like Newcastle and then Harry Kane.
I was about to say, took the words right out my mouth there.
Yeah. Because whenever a player's struggling, come up against Newcastle, and it always has been a case of, your struggles are over, my son. There's the goal. Go and get a hat-trick or something, and move on. Well, listen, Perchy, it's been a pleasure having you on, mate. Thank you for giving up some of your Friday night. Really
Thanks
appreciate
for coming
that.
on.
Take care, guys.
Take care. See you soon, mate. Thank you.
Bye.
So there you go. That was Perchy, the Spurs fan. Kindly said he'd come on for about half an hour tonight and discuss Tottenham. And for the rest of the show, Danielle, we get to talk about Steve Bruce. We'll go through a few more comments. Cesare, everybody said Cesare. Michael, thank you very much again.
Oh, wow, Michael.
Absolute gentleman. He's just blown my mind every week. It's incredible. Thank you so much for that. And I'll catch up with you on Sunday. But Paul says, someone please help John Sinclair. Can't stop laughing.
I know, man.
Oh, dear. I don't know. Well, yeah. Everybody thanking Michael. Yeah, he is a star, an absolute star. He's an angel in the sky, is Michael Marsden. There's no doubt about that. Forget giving shite to Bruce. I'm going for Levy every chance. I don't think Levy's going to be there on Sunday, Danielle.
Nah. And can you imagine how awkward it'll be? Come and meet the owners of Newcastle United. That's going to be a nice conversation, isn't it? After everything Amanda's had to say and everything that's happened.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Yeah, very. Ben says, as a Spurs supporter, what are your opinions about the Newcastle takeover? What he did say, we did start with that. He's happy for the fans. And I think, listen, the majority of opposition fans, the real football fans of this world, are happy for Newcastle United. For the fans, there's no doubt about that. Or they're worried about what's going to happen in future years with us being successful, winning trophies, things like that. Of course they are. And who wouldn't be? But it's the owners and the managers of these other clubs with, Klopp coming out with an absolute load of bullshit today.
I mean, what the hell was that? Like, Jesus. How is the Newcastle takeover the same thing as the Super League?
It isn't. It just isn't.
Not?
And then he had to go Gareth Southgate for not calling Gomez in the England squad. He said, there's special rules for... there must be special rules for John Stones because he's not playing first-team football, but he plays for England. He was on a right one today. Mike Sect says, told you Amanda is scared of Bruce.
No.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
I think there's a lot more to it than meets the eye, I think.
Yeah, just a bit. Julie's obviously working backstage again.
Super Julie,
exactly. That's what she's going to get known as. Neil says, relegated by Christmas. Well, if we keep Bruce, then it's. I don't see any logic to it. I mean, I did a video yesterday saying that Bruce was gonna stay, Danielle, but we have to trust the new owners that they're doing the right thing. But
the thing we have to remember is that they had 48 hours notice of this takeover, just like we did.
Yeah.
I listened to a little bit of George Culkin today on his pod that he does, and obviously he's very close to Amanda and gets a lot of kind of information. And I think the issue that's happening is the decision making kind of hierarchy isn't settled. So it might be clear in their minds what they want to do, but it isn't kind of this backstage stuff that needs to happen before this can go on.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it's about.
To sort out with contracts and stuff, and especially if they're going to approach a new manager. I think from the information I'm getting, they want to establish somebody first. Have somebody.
And I think the plan is, from what I learned today, was that they're going to try and bring someone in for the rest of the season to kind of stay, to get with safe, and then they're going to look at a director of football and then bring someone in over a longer period of time, because what they don't want to do is bring a manager in and then bring a director of football in and they don't get on, because the whole point is that the relationship's supposed to be solid in there. So I think that's perhaps what's going to happen, which what we were talking about the other day about, do we bring our expectations too high with somebody like Mancini, somebody like Conte, probably.
Listen, I got
in the
flack for
short
saying
term.
Lampard the other day. I think Frank Lampard would be a breath of fresh air in there.
Did you see Stephen Gerrard's comments today, though?
Yeah, I found that very interesting, because he didn't rule himself out at all.
Nope.
Not once. And
not once.
all he said was, I wish Steve Bruce the very best for his 1,000th game. He didn't say anything, I wish him the best for the future. He said, I wish him the best for the 1,000th game. Never ruled himself out. He just said it wouldn't be fair, because Steve Bruce was in a job, and he respects Steve Bruce. I don't know why, because the Manchester United Liverpool connection is not very good. But
it's what you have to say, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
if you're going to take someone's job, that's what you're going to have. That's what the kind of thing you have to say.
Definitely, it was very cryptic, without a doubt, and it was just the way he was smirking as well. And I thought, hang on a minute,
I know
what's going on here.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no to Stevie G either. I mean, we all know that Liverpool's his big job eventually, but if he can stabilise the club over the next couple of years and then hand it over to somebody else when he goes to Liverpool, fair enough.
Yeah.
He could establish himself as a real hero up here if he was to get us somewhere while he was here. But again, time will tell. Beat says, hopefully that's the last embarrassing interview Bruce gives, especially when he said the journalists deserve a slap. Cesare says, to be fair, Klopp was one of the first to criticise his own club on the Super League. Yep, but he was just bitter and twisted in his press conference today.
He was an angry man.
Yeah. Robert says His Excellency is currently on the golf course on Sky.
Yes, he is. He is. He's having a round.
Exactly. Denai says it's only one game. We can live with that. We will be all right. Luke says, well, thank you for asking.
Only one game?
Yes, Danielle. Let's not. Don't be saying things like that.
Listen, right.
Everybody's got the hopes up that they're going to get up on Monday morning and Bruce has been relieved.
I've been thinking today, I've been thinking all day. Like, I've been putting weird stuff on Twitter, you've noticed.
Well,
I've started having a bit of a moral dilemma. Well, obviously you would assume that, wouldn't you? Because it's totally unlike me.
Oh, very, very.
But I felt a bit sorry for him today.
I know.
And I
was staggered by that tweet, Danielle.
But you know why I felt like? Because everybody knows he's getting sacked. He knows he's getting sacked. His wife knows he's getting sacked. His son knows he's getting sacked. Everyone knows. But they've put him in front.
He's getting £8 million.
And I get that. And I understand that. However, I'm not talking from a money point of view. I'm talking about he's going on about his pride and his self-respect and his dignity. To me, he didn't have any dignity at all. It was just like...
But if he had any pride and dignity, he would have walked last season.
Would you, though? Would you walk if somebody offered you $8 million? Would you walk, though, being honest? Because I wouldn't.
Don't throw that question at me. I'm
Look,
here just...
I'll be back to normal service tomorrow. Like, today I'm just having some kind of moral issue. But tomorrow, obviously, I know he's not the right man and he's got to go. He should have went last week. He should have went Friday morning last week. But I just felt it was a bit awkward, that press conference today. It was very much like, I'm going to fight for this job and I'm going to do what I can to convince the owners. And you can't do nothing. There's nothing that you can do. You're out. It is a waiting game until somebody makes a call, and that's that.
It is that is exactly what it is. It's like he's now the caretaker manager until we bring somebody else in.
Exactly what it is.
Tony says, let's not let the cheesy chip merchant get in the way of the positive atmosphere on Sunday. This is our day, not his. Well, definitely it is his day as well with 1,000 games. I mean,
I know he's in the Hall of Fame now.
Oh, dear me, the Hall of Fame. The King of Northumberland says, I read today that some Premier League teams want Masters and Hoffman sacked. Oh, the irony. I know, it's pathetic. It really is. The way the other Premier League teams are acting is actually pathetic. Neil says, when Man City and Chelsea were taken over, they were in 4th and 6th in the league. 5-0 Spurs, says Neil.
Oh, well.
That's positivity for you. I am, thank you, Cesare. Paul says, let's face it, if you're out of form as a player or a team, then Newcastle is a team you want to play against. Hat-trick for Kane on Sunday. Yeah, unfortunately.
Look, I don't understand what people expect. Like, when they look at our fan base, do they think we expect to win the league 7 days after a takeover? I don't understand this. Like, our expectations is that we will get beat on Sunday. and that's it. Like,
it still is with Steve Bruce in charge, isn't it?
Of course it is. And anyone who tries to have a little dig by saying, "Oh, you're going down, you're going to get relegated 5-0, whatever," tell us something we don't know. Like, we know we're going to get turned over. That's fine. If it gets him out quicker,
very
fine for
true.
me.
Very true. Guys, I'm sorry, StreamYard skipped some comments again, but obviously everybody can see the comments on YouTube, so I haven't seen them, obviously, but they're there for everybody to see, so I do apologise. StreamYard need to fix this badly because it's really annoying. Billy Watt says, for me, Coutinho would be a mint signing. I'd also like to say someone like Tarkowski. Very, very strong defender. We need mid-caliber players first, the best of the mid-table clubs and the offcuts of the top 4. I agree with that. I think that's the best way to go.
And I think we'll have to set our expectations like at the right place. So I know what they're excited about. I'm the worst for it. Like, let's bring all the players in.
Go on, Danielle.
Stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
get it, but
that checkbook still hasn't arrived, I take it.
Well, no, it hasn't yet. I'm still waiting. But we can't just expect to be signing all of these, like, big players. That'll not happen. It's a slow and gradual process.
I mean, it's like I said before, Danielle, these players aren't going to turn up for Newcastle until we are regularly fighting at the top of the league. We're regularly in Champions League competitions and we're regularly fighting for trophies. That's when the big names start to come. Yes,
definitely.
Do it like Manchester City did. They started by signing a big name like Robinho. They signed one every so often and built up these big signings.
Also, what I found out today was that they actually went for somebody else first and they were turned down because they weren't in European football and they weren't kind of didn't have the expectations that player wouldn't meet his expectations. So I think we'll have that'll be a problem as well initially. So that's probably why we'll have to just gradually go up the table, and then the checkbook comes out after that.
Then Danielle goes on a spending spree.
100%.
Stu says, worst defensive record in the Premier League so far under Steve Bruce. The modern game has completely passed him by. No, he's going to go anyway, says Ian. Let's hope so. No. Bruce will go soon. I never want a Newcastle loss. Julie says, Danielle, take a moment to think there. Love it. I'm not sure what she's talking about there.
Well, I've been thinking all day. That's the problem. I've been going from one extreme to the other.
Yeah. Graham says, to the guest Spurs fan, sorry, misname, speaks very good about all things so far. Yeah. He was only on for half an hour because obviously
good lad.
He said he'd come on and just give his thoughts on Spurs and everything, and off he goes. So it was not very nice of him to come on. But obviously I wanted a part of the show tonight to be about Newcastle, just Newcastle United, especially with Steve Bruce's comments earlier today, which we'll come on to in a second. Ian says, be under no illusion, Bruce is not a world-class manager. They want a world-class club. Well, that's certainly the signals that they're giving us is they want a world-class club, end of story. He will go at some point, win, lose, or draw. Graham says, I hope so, Danielle. He needs to go.
He does, and he will. I just think things are so fresh for them in their partnership. Things just need to settle down a little bit in terms of getting the decision makers and get the process kind of lined out so that when these decisions need to be made, it doesn't take so long next time. Yep,
definitely. Billy says, for me, even if we win, Bruce will go. I think they're lining up a replacement, but don't want to get rid of one until we have a new manager in place ready to come in. Because I think that's right, because, it's not like there's an international break. There's only a week between the games. So they'll want somebody to come straight in and get started literally straight away. I don't think they want to wait till the next international break in November because we may be adrift, and that's going to be a long battle back if we get adrift at the bottom of that table. Abigail says, great question from the Spurs chap about wanting Newcastle to lose so Bruce gets sacked. Danielle didn't blink, lol.
Nah. No, listen, I don't want to see my club lose, but if it pushes him out the door quicker, I'll take it for the sake of him leaving, because he's like a weight around my neck all the time, isn't he? He's just keeping me down and keeping me down. Yeah. And we need change.
Oh, without a doubt. Number 20 incoming, LFC, deep down, you Geordies know. Not sure what that means. Yeah, Nigel says, until we get the sporting director's position sorted, we won't get a permanent manager. The SD will want to work with his own management.
Yeah, that's what I said before.
Yeah. Yep, that could be interesting. Hopefully, Winks is playing in midfield, the most average player ever to be born, says Tony. I can lip read Danielle, lol, says Jordan.
I know. I could read your comment as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think the chance will definitely start if we go 1 or 2-0 down. Bruce still got massive chip on his shoulder with the press, can't take criticism. Obviously, 2 players tested positive for COVID. So obviously, they'll miss the game on Sunday. Lewis deserves another chance, says Tony.
Yeah, he does.
And K Moggy agrees, need to start Lewis to keep up with Mora. John says, Paul, are you okay? You look not well, mate. I have flu.
You know what you need, right? You need
Yes.
this Albus oil bath form, right?
Right.
And it literally blow your head, but it'll clear everything. That's what you need. Get on Amazon.
I don't
Get it
actually
ordered.
have the stuffy nose at the minute. I've been using that
Oh,
first
it'll
defense
come.
spray from Vicks, which has kept it from it's killed the virus in my nose, but it's my throat. I feel like I've got a lump there, like I've got a bone stuck, and I have a feeling it's just they will like green stuff needs to come up. But we'll not get into that stuff.
Oh, delicious.
Yes. Rami says they are investors. If Bruce's states are very low, they will not keep him and waste millions on players. It doesn't make sense for any investor. No. Matthew says Son and Gilles have COVID. Wow.
That changes things, mind.
Well, it does. I mean, if Sol's and Gilles, to be fair, I mean, he was on about them playing on the wings. Perchy was. So there you go. If those 2 are missing, wow.
Get in.
That could be just the boost we need for Sunday. For me, I'd play Manquillo on the right or Murphy at right wing back and Lewis at left back. Well, I mean, Son always plays with a smile on his face. Well, by all accounts, it's not going to be on Sunday.
He won't be.
Don't want Dele Alli at all, says Graham. His attitude stinks. I've always thought that about Dele Alli, 100%. Just his attitude, something's not right there.
Yeah.
Question for this first ban: would you take a loss if it meant put us off buying your players? There's a good comeback. Stu says it's so hard to be positive when Steve Bruce remains the manager. Just seeing him pitch side is enough to make anybody phone the Samaritans. Yes.
I think Sunday is all about the new start, though, isn't it? And the fresh start, and everybody knows it's temporary.
Yeah, definitely. Tangy says, I want to tell the story of 2 Geordie managers who have 1,000 or more games as manager. So Bobby Robson and Steve Bruce. One of them managed England and trophies all over Europe. He's going to continue further down, I think. Cesare says, Percy, do you think that what Kane is going through now is having been distracted by City, or do you think he's struggling to find his feet under Nuno? Best I've ever seen him was under Mourinho. I think with Harry Kane, I think his injuries are catching up on him, Danielle.
Definitely. And don't get us wrong, I think his head has been turned, and I think he did want the move, but, I just think he's a different player. He looks a different player at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully.
Well, yeah, and hopefully that continues on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Because, it's just like us to let him score a hat-trick. Wouldn't mind Dele to us. Willock, Miggy and Dele in the centre could be deadly. I don't think those 3 would play together, to be honest. Most goals and assists altogether in one season under Mourinho. Yes, there was. And then Tangy goes on to say the same was respected by the Geordie faithful and world football community. The second guy, Steve Bruce, were nothing, never respected by the Geordie faithful at all.
Correct.
That's fair enough. K Moggy says, I think we're going to start seeing the Willock we seen last season starting against Spurs. I think he'll turn up like mad with Wilson back. Hopefully. I mean, fingers crossed, Danielle, we get to see that, because obviously Callum Wilson coming back is massive.
Bloody Lulia, though, isn't it? I mean, about time.
Do you think he'll start?
He's got to start. He's got to start. And
we'll
just have to pray that no injuries, man. Like we can't have it, because I worry about him, and I worry about Saint, because there'll be like 3 on him the whole time.
Yeah.
And even though he comes out dressed like a mummy, he goes down like with a little gust of wind, doesn't he?
Yeah, so. I know. It's worrying that. Guys, if you are enjoying the show, please don't forget to smash the like button for us and help us build up the channel. And also, if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, please do hit the subscribe button. They are going up brilliantly at the minute. It's flying
amazing,
high. It's getting honestly so much bigger. It's brilliant. So thank you very, very much. I've had my first big sponsorship offer come through, which I've accepted. So back end of the month, hopefully, I will start advertising that on the channel. It's massive for us at the channel. It's huge. So thank you very much to everybody that's backed us so far. There's another sponsorship offer coming today, which I haven't really gone through yet, but I will in time. It's really taken off for this channel, so thank you very much. So like I say, when I've looked at the analytics, a lot of people that still watch aren't subscribed either, so please do subscribe button if you like what you're watching, please. It's massively important to us, so thank you. And if you do like to donate to the channel, like Michael has very, very generously again tonight, and a couple of others, thank you very, very much. Just hit the $sign at the bottom of the live comments, and that will take you through to the super chat. So thank you for that in advance. Right, we are going to have a look at some of the comments Steve Bruce made today in a second. Alan says Son and Kane are more expensive than our whole squad, and people are saying we have too much money. Like, it's a massive rebuild, guys. It's huge. It's not just massive. Joe Linton to Spurs. Wow. Martin says
driving myself and I can't drive.
Yeah. Martin says praying for a bad winter. Hopefully loads of games postponed till January transfer window and Bruce gone. Nice unfortunately, with heated pitches, etc. these days, that's a thing of the past, I think, in the Premier League. Right. Couple of we'll start with this one. No, we won't. We'll start with this one. So he was speaking to the media ahead of the Newcastle Tottenham game, and he says, I have to say they, Amanda Stavely and Medrad Gudozi, are very, very good people. It was good to see them around the training ground. If the takeover takes this great club forward, then great. I mean, you know, he doesn't say it with any sort of passion, does he? Considering he claims to be a Newcastle United fan. He doesn't talk like a fan.
No, he doesn't. But I think maybe you know what? Maybe I've just fallen for it massively. Maybe he came out. I mean, I could see his eyes were watery. He looked very stressed, under pressure. Like, he really did. He was stuttering. His face was bright red. Yeah. And I really fell for it. And maybe he was going for the sympathy vote, you know.
Is there a possibility, Danielle, that he just needed a huge poo before he came on screen and had to force it out? Something like that with
one of the same, isn't it?
With
really,
tears in his eyes.
But,
yeah.
You know, I think I fell for it. Maybe that's what it was. It was all that, they're very good people. Well, we know that.
Yeah, the real Danielle's coming back now. That's what we want to see.
See, I'm coming out the other side now.
Yes, you just went into that little bit of a craziness for a few minutes, Danielle.
I went all empathetic. It was like,
oh my God, I couldn't believe what I was reading on Twitter. I thought, that's not Danielle. Somebody's hacked her account. He went on to say, for Sunday's game, the most important thing for the fans is to see their team win a game. And I know they'll be right behind the players in an atmosphere which I doubt we'll have witnessed at St. James's Park in a long, long time. He's pretty right about that. The atmosphere is going to be electric, isn't it?
Well, he uses weird words. He said it was going to be ridiculous, which I thought was a very strange word to use, isn't it? Like, a ridiculous atmosphere. Like, I thought you could have said amazing. It could have been overwhelming. It could have been, but ridiculous.
Well, the man's ridiculous himself at times, isn't he? I mean, he certainly doesn't sort of, grace himself with any. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm over it now. I'm over it.
Yeah, I thought you might be. On his 1000th game as manager, he said, it's not about me. It's about the club going forward, the team, and more importantly, getting a result on Sunday. There's times this season where I think we've played very well. We need a win to get us moving up the table. Now, when
that's
he talked
almost
about
the same as saying it's accumulation of points, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
of course
but when he said those comments about it's not about me, he went into a bit of a rant about, my previous 999 games or 20 years experience, whatever it may be, blah, 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 blah. Went on to talk about himself. So he totally overrided what he said in the first sentence, which was crazy. On the team news for Sunday, the only ones not available are Dubravka and Dummett. The captain, Jamal Lascelles, is fit. John Joe Shelby is fit. And Callum Wilson is fit. Massive boost to have Wilson back. And we have missed, I never thought I'd say it, but we have missed John Joe Shelby.
Not for me. I haven't missed him. The lazy get.
But you haven't missed him. But I'm saying the team. Have we created anything in midfield when he's been out the side?
Did we create much when he was in it, apart from the odd Hollywood ball?
The odd 2 out of 10, but it's better than none out of 10.
Look, right, I'm willing to give him a second chance, right? So if he comes out on Sunday and he shows a bit of spirit, I mean, his interview the other day, he was like ranting and raving, saying how wonderful it all is. So maybe this is the new John Joe Shelby. Maybe that's where he's been. Maybe he's gone and got some cleansing auras, chakra therapy or something, and now he's
been to see some Buddha or something, has he?
100%. If he comes out and gives it a go, then I'll hold my hands up and say I was wrong. But
I guess time will tell on that as well. But I think a lot of the players will have to realise that, if they don't pull the finger out now, the time is very, very, very numbered at the club, because
100%.
they'll get rid.
The party's
It's
over.
not an easy ride like it was under Ashley now, is it? They're going to be very, very... Well, they're going to be scrutinised every game, to be fair, and if they're not putting the effort in, they'll go. And on the squad morale, he says, I think they're excited like everybody else. They realise there's been a monumental change.
I love the fact that he used the word monumental
as well.
Monumental,
yeah. He's obviously watched this channel, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
They realise there's been a monumental change, and I'm sure the players will want to prove that they can be part of taking the club to a better place. Certainly, there's been a change in the whole atmosphere. Now, time will tell on that, Danielle, as to how they perform on Sunday. If that atmosphere has changed, they will be doing everything they can to win the game.
Indeed, and you have to ask yourself, why is there a change of atmosphere? So, is there a change of atmosphere because the time is coming that Bruce is going to be giving his marching orders, and maybe that's why the atmosphere is a bit better? Is it that, the people who want to try are buzzing because they're thinking, oh, now all of this laziness and these 2 days training a week going to stop? I don't know.
It will actually be more of a professional football club.
Who knows? I mean, opportunities are endless, aren't they, really, when you think about it?
Yeah. And of course, this is the bit that pulls at your heartstrings, Danielle. I have tried... I should really be playing something like anyway. He says, I've tried to keep my dignity, but I hope you guys, journalists, are getting a slap from your bosses, getting a bit of heat. Whoever it was feeding you information, they didn't get it right. Now, and then, of course, he finished off with Steve Bruce on meeting the new owners. There were no discussions on me whatsoever. There were certain discussions that need to be private. So it was all about the team and injuries. It was informal. They were very good people.
So he's saying, right, there was no discussions about me, but there's certain discussions that have to be in private. So clearly there was discussions that were private that were about him, but he just doesn't want to say. That's okay. Oh, I mean, God, he talks in riddles.
What did you think of what he said about the media? Because when Keith Downey from Sky asked him a couple of questions, he was very off with Keith Downey as well. In fact, Keith even fought back. He wasn't taking that shit, because he just basically turned around and said, look, I'm only reporting what I get told. And then Bruce came back at him and said, well, it's not, this isn't a vendetta against you, Steve. And to be fair, Keith was just speaking as an honest man, just saying he was getting reports. So he was reporting back what he heard. Fair enough. That's what reporters do. Some of them don't get anything and just make up a load of lies. Luke Edwards, Miguel Delaney, people like that. But I felt sorry for Keith Downey today when he was, on Sky, because attacking the media like that is just ridiculous, because Steve Bruce knows he's not the man for Newcastle. The press know that as well. So why have a dig at the press like that? For me, it was just pure arrogance.
He's backed in a corner, though, isn't he? And that's it, because he knows he's backed in a corner. Everyone knows it. He knows it. And when people are backed in a corner, the only thing they can do is kick off, and that's what happens. Like, it's just he's had days and days of reporters outside the training ground watching him getting in his car, what's he got in his hand, all of that. And obviously he knows what's coming, so it's just a case of, well, if I'm feeling like this, you're going to have some of it. So that's what happened this afternoon.
There's a few
embarrassing,
comments
really, when you've got new owners watching you.
Yeah, exactly. A few comments coming in there saying Levy will be on the phone to Masters wanting the game postponed because he's got 2 players out. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately, so I don't think they'll have a chance. Stu would take Jones in a heartbeat. I'm not sure he's number 1 though, but that's just my opinion. Jealousy from Klopp. They're just respecting Bruce giving him his 1,000th game in charge. Simple. He'll be gone after this one. Is it as simple as just being nice, Danielle? Are we overreacting, thinking, but are these new owners just nice people that want Steve Bruce to get to 1,000 games? If we win, it's a bonus. or are we
You know
just?
what I think? I think they just haven't got the shit together. That's my honest opinion. That's not me slagging them off. Of course, they've come in and they've saved our club, but
No,
I
they haven't
think
got the
they
shit
haven't.
together yet because I've been in long enough. That's
Exactly.
what you're saying.
I think the teething problems. There's a little bit of I put a tweet out this morning that I think the next couple of weeks or months are going to be a little bit bumpy while things get sorted out in terms of who decides what. Because, like we said earlier in the week, Amanda doesn't call the shots. She's a 10% shareholder, so she doesn't have the majority say. It's a public investment fund, so.
Oh, does she though? We don't know. I
See, I
mean,
don't think she
are
does
they?
though.
I know, but are they? The way that the first week is gone, Amanda has very much been at the forefront, right? She's been doing the interviews. She's been on the front covers of newspapers. She's been the one who has basically said everything, communicated with the fans today about Steve Bruce, which, by the way, was incredible because that's the first bit of information that the club has ever
And it
sent
was
us
just
regarding
nice to
that.
know, wasn't it? It was just
Oh,
nice
God,
to say,
yeah.
right, we know now, so
Yeah.
there's no point in kicking off for the rest of the
Yeah.
weekend about it, because that's it. Like,
Have the Public Investment Fund just said to Amanda, you will be our face of this football club?
well, yes, I think they have. So I think she's the face because, let's be honest, she's got the best face for the job. She's the perfect person to be the face of our football club. However, that doesn't mean that she's got the hiring and firing responsibilities. There's a board that has to make a decision.
Yeah.
It's not Mike Ashley anymore where he gets the final say or the only say. It would be very much Public Investment Fund making this call. So they just need to get it sorted. It's still early days, and I think people just need to calm down a little bit. I've seen a bit of a nasty tweet going to Mary Dad this afternoon saying, they're a disgrace and all
Oh,
of this.
yes, I've seen that. I mean,
stop being so
pathetic.
embarrassing, man.
They're
Just come
not
off social
Newcastle
media,
fans, man. They're
like.
just a fucking joke. I mean,
And it's going to take them a while. Like, it was never going to be the case where they're just going to march in and say, right, Bruce, get your stuff. Like, that's not going to happen.
I mean, some fans honestly think that they've walked in there with a magic wand and just waved it and everything's fine again. I mean, they've already started cleaning up the stadium. That's,
I know. Did you
incredible
see it?
for me.
They had all
Unbelievable.
the power, the sprays. They had the mops out, everything. I was like, bloody hell!
I mean, it's going to be gleaming on Sunday. Gleaming.
Don't envy that job, mine. Can you imagine the filth after 14 years? Oof.
Well, I certainly wouldn't go on the roofs of the stadium. That's for certain.
I wonder if the pigeons are gone yet.
Who knows? I mean, Gallagher Pigeon, Gallagher Pigeon may still be alive and well, I mean, you certainly think so.
Well, I thought it was Chippers, to be fair, but,
Chippers isn't that sensible and brilliant to do something like that. Good grief. Paul says, interesting to see how many pundits and clubs have become overnight human rights activists. They don't give a toss. It's just money and them wanting to keep their monopoly at the top. Exactly. Look,
it's just noise. That's what it is. It's just noise.
Yes, everybody knows that there's human rights issues in Saudi Arabia, just like there's human rights issues in China, Korea, Thailand, Russia, Mexico, United States, Qatar, all of them. So it's a pretty pathetic argument when you think about it. It really is. But Man United, for instance, kicking off, they've had Saudi investment for years and years and years.
100%.
Now that they've bought Newcastle United, it's, oh no, you've took your money away from us, and how dare you do that?
That's the ironic thing with Miguel Delaney. His employers financed by Saudi Arabia, so work that one out.
Geordie Toon for Life has got a good point about Lampard. He got Chelsea in the top 4 despite 2 transfer window bans and an FA Cup final, and he did well at Derby, bringing the likes of Mount to where he is now.
I've decided I want him now, I've decided. My mind's made up. I want him now.
I think he'd do brilliant. And I think if they were to give him an 18-month contract, Danielle, something like that, see the rest of this season out, get us safe, give him a little bit of money next summer to see what he can do, and then make a decision after the 18-month contract's up and see where Lampard lies.
See what
I genuinely believe he'll do well for us. And he's a big enough name to attract some very, very decent players in.
Absolutely. And I think, anyone would be a better name than Steve Bruce, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. So, yeah. And I think it'll be enough time to bring in a director of football who will have his own ideas, whoever that person may be. And then we'll see what happens after that. But I heard somebody saying Roy Hodgson tonight.
Oh, dear.
How man.
Hey, man. God almighty, what, we're going to wheel him on and bloody Zimmer for it? Oh, nah, come on.
No.
Hodgson retired for a reason because he's an old man
Definitely.
now and he wants to get on with what
Absolutely.
remainder of his life he has with his family, which is a perfectly reasonable thing for Roy Hodgson to do. He's not going to come to Newcastle where the pressure is going to be massive to have success. And
100%.
I mean, Geordie John says Bruce is going to ruin the atmosphere.
He's
I
not.
don't think he will.
The only people that will ruin the atmosphere is the people who let it ruin their day. It's about our club and the fact that he's gone. So let's celebrate that.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens if we do get a Tongan. I think inevitably they will have us. We all will have a say on Steve Bruce then. But I think if he manages to get the guys coming out fighting and we give a decent display, I'm not saying win the game, but if we see an improved display, well, we unfortunately lose the game, but we've seen a bit of fight, a bit of heart, which we haven't seen this season at all.
No.
Then there'll be no booing. We want them to win. Alan says, Paul, I agree with the owners. Wait until we have a new man signed up. Then when Bruce is sacked, the new man comes in the next day. It's just professional.
It is, and that's the right way of doing things.
And you get the feeling, Danielle, the way that she, especially Amanda talks, this woman knows what she's doing. She is a professional. She knows how to handle very different scenarios, which inevitably she's going to come across at Newcastle United.
She's got businesses. She's got PCP. She runs a business in the Middle East. So, she's got plenty of experience with this kind of thing. But it's not just, like I said earlier, it's not just her. She's acting on behalf of its public investment fund. So she'll want everything to be done by the letter and in a classy way.
Yeah, there's a couple of comments about you earlier feeling sorry for Steve Bruce, which is now...
Look at it, I'm over it now.
Listen, she had a meltdown, guys. Listen, she just had a brief meltdown.
The thing that you learn about me over time is that I'm a sucker for, I don't want to be rude, but old people, if you like, and people that are, in a certain situation. And I did feel sorry for him, but now I'm over it. So, yeah.
There you go. She's over it. Did you just call me a twat live on air?
Yeah,
there? That's very thanks. Geordie Tune for Life says Paul Bruce is worth 60 million quid, so it should be pride if he leaves, if he's any man at all. Graham says I will never feel sorry for Bruce, a multi-millionaire getting a payout and his absolute dross of a coach. Trev says his face was getting redder and redder all the time. His cabbage was boiling.
It was.
And there go the skips of all the bloody comments again. I do apologise, guys. Well done, Paul and Danielle. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Tony says there is a good player in Shelby, technically, but he's lazy and slow.
Correct.
Dave Harrison says he never once mentioned the fans. Now, that's a very good point. He never, ever said anything about the fans.
He did say something about the supporters.
He
said
Danielle.
something... Supporters
he said we need to win the game for the supporters, but he's talking about the match. As for the takeover, he mentioned nothing about how good it is for the fans. I'm delighted that the takeovers happen for the fans. Me being a fan myself, I am over the moon for the fans because I know how much it means to them. See, put me in charge of Newcastle United because I just said
put me in charge of the money.
Exactly. We'll take the club forward. Danielle will bring in Mbappe, Messi, Ronaldo, anybody.
Everyone,
she'll just go out with a checkbook. I'll go in the dressing room. I'll shout at them for 5 minutes, tell them to win the game, or else they're cleaning the dressing room floor afterwards, and they'll win. Telling you, there you go.
Every time.
Steve Bruce, any last words, says Thomas. Morgul says, agreed. He's interviewed as manager, but other managers use us, we, or any other inclusive noun. Paul says, thinks Shelby needs to play further forward. He sits near enough in a centre-back position for most of the game. He's no good there.
Good point.
I actually agree with that. I mean,
I do. Mm-hmm.
But one thing we need to stop is ASM coming back into a sweeper position to get the ball.
Oh, God, I know. He needs to stay where he is and just not move because then we'll end up in a situation where we can't get out of our own half.
Yeah. Livervid says, would you have preferred Kevin Big Al back at the club instead of Bruce on the beach this Sunday in temporary dual roles?
No. I think, well, yes. Yes, what am I saying? Yes, I would.
Are you sure you haven't been on the champagne again, Danielle?
Honestly, I don't know what's wrong with us today. I'm having problems. Yes, I would actually.
Fair enough. I would as well, to be honest. I'd love to see. I mean,
do you reckon he's going to be there on Sunday, KK?
Yeah, I think he will be.
Well, that'll be it for me, mind. I'll go AWOL after that.
All I've heard is that Keegan and Shearer have both been approached by the consortium. Now, as to what that is, I do not know, whether it's some sort of ambassadorial rules or something to do with the club. Maybe they're getting people in, that are Newcastle United through and through to help run things behind the scenes, to advise, as advisory roles, whatever it may be, to make sure that the new people do it right by the fans, as to what the fans have wanted, something like that. I mean, I would love it if that's what they've done. See what I did there, Danielle? I would love it.
Love it.
Love it. Tony says that Bruce hates Keith Downey anyway.
He sounded like
Downey's,
it today.
Keith Downey's quite a nice bloke, actually. And then, I don't know whether Danielle, I got, interviewed last week.
I didn't know that.
New
information.
Yeah, I know. Ian says, literally all that's been on sports media all this week, including us guys, have been saying he won't be at the Tottenham game. Look, so technically he was right. Listen, Steve Bruce never came out and said anything, and neither did the consortium. It was us. It was us that were predicting that he'd go. Yeah. But unfortunately, we were wrong. He's still there. But is he going to be there long term? Absolutely not. And I would stake a lot of money on that. Exactly. Gary Moffat, thank you very much for the £5 super chat, matey. Very, very kind of you. Thank you so much. Abigail says there were talks in private that were private that Bruce, the tea lady, told him about them. Yeah. Hey, Steve, did you know I heard Amanda the other day and she was talking about you? And, I was giving her pouring her a cup of tea from that black and white teapot, and then I cracked her the other week. And she says, hey, Steve, they're going to fire you after the Tottenham game. They wanted to get your 1000th game, son. So you go out and you be proud. And I'll have a cup of tea ready for you after the game, lad. Something along them lines probably would have happened. I hear some people want to lick John Joe Shelby's head.
Oh, God.
Not me. I can't say I'm one of them. Steve says, win or lose on Sunday, Bruce will be gone for sure. Tony says, I want to kiss his head, Thomas, after wiping it with pledge. Tony, I don't know what kind of... interesting. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen, Brucey, says Martin. Mr. Morgan loves Bruce, apparently. Don King, how are the lads? Now, I take it that is the Macam way of saying it, so I think that is, well, yeah, but look at the way how is spelt. That is the Macam way of doing things, Danielle. Cesare, Keith Downey's shown more joy for the fans regarding the takeover than Bruce has. Exactly, my friend.
He shed a tear of joy, didn't he? Bless him.
Yep. I mean, not even a Newcastle fan, and he sheds a tear of joy for the fans because he picked up on that atmosphere after being at the club all week reporting on this takeover. He picked up just what it meant to the fans. And it was emotional for him when they announced that takeover to see the fans' reaction. Fans were crying everywhere, and it got to him. And that's what this club is about. It gets people.
It does. It does.
Dale says, spent 350 quid on some good fireworks today. Watch the skies this weekend. Oh, 350 quid? What, you bought a sudden rocket to the moon? Jesus Christ. That's unbelievable. Paul says, Bruce always struggles to answer the hard questions, always takes a huff, interrupts them, and deflects it back at them. He's done that for years. He's done that for absolute years. I mean, listen, Danielle, he has not got a good way with the media, has he? He just hasn't.
No, and I think you just can't take criticism, can he? Or if there's any element of a question that he doesn't like, he stops it and tries to overtalk and tries to kind of deflect what the question actually was. And that's just a massive sign of somebody who knows the crap. Yeah. So he doesn't want to answer the questions.
He is. I mean, in all honesty, I was a bit staggered that he had to go at the media. I wasn't expecting that today. I would expect him to come out with a bit more morality and say, look, it's been a tough week for all of us, but I was told early on just to get on with my job, and that's what I'm doing. And hopefully, when it comes to Sunday, I'll have the lads prepared as best I can possibly can to go out there and get a result. Why not just say that?
Because you can't stop yourself, clearly.
Well, no, he can't because he's an arrogant git.
You can't control yourself.
He can't. Hi, Paul. Good evening. Frim Jan from Holland. We met Friday. Love your show.
Oh!
Hey! Hiya, Jan. Hope you're well, my friend. And I hope you got home. Obviously, you got home nice and safely. Glad you've tuned into the show, mate. It's nice to have you on. And I hope you're, still as happy as you were when I saw you last Friday. Take care. And thanks for coming on the show. Steve Bruce says in the same sentence, I have dignity. And then goes on to say, hope you get slapped in the face from your bosses.
I know.
Tangy's got a
I
point.
know.
That is not dignity.
It's a contradiction.
Jesus Christ. It's just for me that from day one, Bruce has had a defeatist attitude, praising the opposition every game and slagging off fans, never mind the press, which is exactly what he's done.
At the end of the day, if he's rotten, then he's rotten. You can't hide that. So clearly he's rotten, and that's it. Surely you go in front of the press for the first time under your new boss. You want to make a good impression, and you just can't stop yourself.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that. Thomas says on John's channel, live chat is turned off. Has anyone realised that?
Yeah,
yes, he's knocked it off and he doesn't know why.
Child settings or something.
Yeah, he doesn't know how. But, you know, I can't help him at the minute because I've got a show on. There's a few of us got shows on tonight that can't actually help him. So, but it is literally one little setting that he just needs to click to change it from kids to adult and make sure that live chat is ticked on. It's quite an easy thing to do. Tony says just because she has 10% stake don't mean she has 10%, by the way. So maybe you never know. You never know what's going on behind the scenes. Craig says Bruce needs to go and his staff expect the same outcome on Sunday. 5-4-1, Joe Linton starting, 30% possession total.
I don't think so. Nah, I don't think so.
So
I
what
think
do you
it'll
think?
be 4-3-2-1, I think. I think if he wants to...
You actually think that Steve Bruce will go 4-3-2-1? Do
you know what I think?
Or 4-2-3-1, sorry.
I think we're going to see a different Bruce this game. I think, and that's when we'll know. That's when we'll know. When we see that sheet and we see that formation,
right,
we'll know the truth. That he's just been a massive bellend all along and he's just been doing it on purpose because he's an absolute arsehole. There we go, I'm back.
Yeah,
Yay!
She's back, ladies and gentlemen. She is back. We've missed half of the time that she went. She went to a different world where Steve Bruce, pulled at her heartstrings.
A little old man that needed a casserole, like literally. That's where I was at.
Made her some nice big Yorkshire puddings and stuff, and went for Sunday dinner. But she's back in the real world now.
I'm back.
Ian says it's halal, the lads. By the way, yes, it is. It's no longer Hawaii. It's halal. Mops out if you love the tune. Dear God. Nick says on a personal level, I genuinely think Bruce is a good man, and I'd have been sad to have seen him sacked on 999 games.
Wow.
Okay. I want to hear an Amanda Staveley chant on Sunday.
I want to see Amanda Staveley on Sunday. I want to see her.
There is
with
no
black
doubt
and white
she'll be
scarf
there.
on. Do you reckon she'll have a black and white scarf on?
I was told she was wearing a black and white bra.
You and that bloody bra, man. Honestly.
Listen.
With that bra.
I never thought it would come true, right? And as I've stated on many occasions, I don't see Amanda Staveley in that way, right? At all. She's not my type. However, what I did say was very early on, when this takeover business started, I always said that I wanted things done behind the scenes, and then Amanda Staveley in the centre circle waving a black and white bra saying the takeover's done. And we kind of almost got that. Not the bra bit, but we almost. So I think Amanda will be there on Sunday, and I think they will come onto the pitch. I have no doubt about that.
Do you not think they'll do what they did with Joe Willock? When he came back, and then like about 10 minutes before the
10 minutes before the match, not at half time, 10 minutes before the match or 15 minutes before the match. That would be absolutely incredible because that will just get the crowd going again. And then when Local Hero starts, it'll just be buzzing.
Oh, I can't wait.
That one that I think it was War Flags sent out.
Have you heard about all that carry on with War Flags?
Yeah, I know.
The bloody flags are stuck in Germany. What the hell?
I know. Well, if I had time, I would drive to Germany and get them on their behalf. But unfortunately,
I can just imagine you get bloody stuck. Here you go. That'd be the thing.
Well, thanks, Danielle. Yeah,
and you would.
Oh, by the way, just to add to me, £6.10, right? Going back to the Wolves trip, I've now got a speeding fine through the door. Yeah. Can you believe that shit?
That's right? Oh my God.
58 miles an hour in a 50 through roadworks on the A19 coming home, right? I went the A19 because it was easy to, I've got to fill a form in first just to say it was me. But this is the thing. Whenever I go through those roadworks, right, which are the roadworks which have cameras all the way down for the average speed, right? As soon as we come to them, I put my speed limiter on, right, to 50 miles an hour. So I don't touch the pedal. I don't do anything. The car drives itself at 50. So if my car's telling me I'm doing 50 mile an hour, right? How am I doing 58? So I am going to kick off about that. And I will also mention the M6 toll in the letter that I sent back to them and saying, if it's not bad enough, you're then going to threaten me with 3 points on my license and a fine. I mean,
you can go. They do like tribunal things for these things now.
I'll be fighting them because
you've got to go to a panel and convince them and stuff. We could do a live stream, couldn't we?
Listen, I put my 50 mile an hour cruise control on because I do it for every single roadworks with them stupid average speed cameras, so that I know if I get a letter, I know in my heart of hearts that car said I was doing 50. So
I can't believe that, man.
Yeah, it just topped it off for me. I mean, so yeah, what a wonderful trip to Wolves that was.
Just appeal it.
Well, I'm going to
kick off.
But I just thought that would cheer your night up as well. You know, just.
Well, in a way it did, but in a way it didn't. Because
I saw the way you fell back laughing, Danielle. It's fine.
You know, I know, but I don't need to pay. I don't have to pay a fine though.
Well, we'll see. Adam's paying half the fucker if I do. That's a certainty. Because I went the A19 way back home to take him back through the tunnel. That's the only reason I went the A19 way.
Get your cash out, Adam.
Yep. Get the wallet out, son. I'm coming for you. Castrol GTX for life, baby. Oil me up like an otter, says Tony.
Right.
Okay. There's human rights issues in Sunderland. Yeah.
Plenty there.
Yeah. Brendan Rodgers is linked. Yeah, I'm not sure Rodgers wants to come to be.
I don't think
Lampard likes youth. Yeah, he does. He brings youth players through, and that's why I'd be very happy to see Lampard come in.
And
Lampard got Chelsea out of their Champions League group and never got credited when they won the cup. Exactly. People forget about that.
We'd appreciate you, Frank.
Yes, Frank, get yourself up. Anyway, Al Mutari says, "What do you think about building a new stadium?" Danielle.
Where would it go, though? I mean...
Well, they're talking about building it where the arena is at the minute, right by the side of the river.
That's not going to happen. But I think they'll try and do what they can with St. James's as it is. So whether they have to flip the pitch round or whether they have to dig a bit deeper, that's fine. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we could ever move. How would you feel about moving, though? Like... Would you get attachment issues?
I don't know. I think, you know, St. James's Park has always been part of my life, you know, since I was a kid. But you also have to say, right, times change, times move on. I mean, without a doubt, there's no doubt in my mind that the support is there for a bigger stadium.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I think we could easily fill out an 80,000 seater stadium easily. Would you ever be able to get 80,000 inside St. James's Park? Well, you know, if you build onto the tiers that are already there, you're going to be having a pilot's license, or you're going to need oxygen when you're up there to sit and watch the game because you'll be so high up. So for me, it's interesting, but I think it's a long way off anyway, Danielle, if I'm honest. I don't think a new stadium is high on the agenda at the minute. I think if we're constantly challenging for Champions Leagues and things like that, then yes, I think we need a bigger stadium. But
Paul, I think you're going to kill Julie, you know.
Oh, no.
She's just put in the chat, the fine would be £6.10 if you pay it within 14 days.
That's one of my mods. That's a person that I've welcomed into the channel into the Toon Review family, and she speaks to me like that. I mean, Julie, you know, I'm speechless. But you can guarantee that the fine is going to be more than £6.10. Well, thank you. Jesus, you just can't get the staff these days, can you? You just can't. Anyway, last part of the show, Danielle. We've got about 8 minutes left or so. So Sunday, it's going to be tough. There's no doubt about that in my eyes. With the team we're going to have, you know, it is going to be very, very, very tough. So, you know, whichever way we look at it, Steve Bruce is still in charge.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that we have to accept.
Yeah, but we're going to have to stick with it. Yeah, and you know what? I'm conflicted because I really want to batter them. Like, because I just hate Daniel Levy and I hate everything that he's done, and the fact that we've had to put up with 18 months of crap because of people like him. However, you know, we're probably going to have to stick with it for a bit longer in terms of the squad that we've got. If we get somebody in like Frank, for example, then he might be able to turn it around. But you know what? Like, I'm going to be positive. And I was positive against Wolves and a bit is on the arse, but I'm going to be really positive. And I'm going to say 3-0. I'm going to say it. 3-0. That's it. It's done.
Good night, folks.
It's out
Thanks
there.
for tuning in. Why? Where are you getting 3-0 from? Oh, God, my throat. Jesus.
Because do you know what, right? It's all about the occasion, isn't it? So this
It is,
atmosphere
yeah.
is going to be nothing that we've seen. Like, I don't even know when the last time would have been where the atmosphere is going to be like this. In the 12th man is back. And it's
That's a good
literally,
point. Yeah.
you know, like, imagine it's a fairy tale. I mean, I'm going to come down to earth with a bang, probably on Sunday afternoon, but I'm going to say, and I'm sticking by my 3-0. Yeah.
Fair enough. Hey, fair enough. You speak your mind. Ian's saying old people are people too, Danielle.
And that's why I love them so much. Like, I'll make casseroles and everything.
Yes, I knew that comment might come back to you. John says, what did Danielle promise to do if Bruce was still manager?
Right.
What did you say you'd do,
well,
Danielle?
The thing is, does it really count, though, if you're under the influence of alcohol? Because I was very drunk.
Oh, yes. Oh, in the words of the dog from the insurance advert. Oh, yes.
It was something to do with Phoenix. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it was something to do with your ass in Phoenix window, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Sunday night, ladies and gentlemen, Danielle is Northumberland Street, Phoenix. She will be bearing her ass. Get your Greg's pasties in. Get everything you want. I'm going to sell tickets, £10 a ticket for the 5-minute show.
He's got to pay his fine. So you've got to pay a fine, Paul.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well, I won't be getting any sausage rolls and bollocks. Ronald says, Gerard said he's not ruled out the Toon job. Well, exactly,
interesting.
Exactly. He didn't rule himself out. Wolves F1, give Bruce same respect what he was when Sunderland manager. Sir Alex raising good players, but managers Gary Neville, Bruce, Ole, Rooney, Hughes, Giggs, Janet. Yeah, well, yeah, they've all been shit.
Yeah, they have.
That's a bit weird, isn't it? Really, when you
it really is.
He meant to say Keane at the end. Yes. Julius is my first block. We don't accept any hateful and disrespectful comments. Thank you. Well done, Julie.
Oh God, that'll be about me praising Bruce, no doubt.
No, I saw it. It was something about the new owners. But Julie's hot on it.
Go on, Jules. Go on.
Jose would be good if we can get him away from Rome. I don't think he'd come.
Nah, not yet. He will one day, but not yet.
Spurs Savage says both got tested positive for COVID. I take he's talking about Son and Gilles.
Like, I'm so sorry, but
yeah, it's a massive.
Look, see me 3-0's getting better, isn't it? Now
Spurs Savage there. Good luck Sunday. We have no Son or Gilles. That is massive for us. Massive. Even though I was actually looking forward to seeing Son play, but never mind. I can cope. I can cope with that.
Let's just wait till he plays for us, and then we're going to enjoy him playing then.
Oh, way to stir the pot. Bruce belongs to the Ministry of the Bleeding Obvious. Guru says, I think Lampard would be a good option, at least till you get top 6. Legend of the game, knows football and tactics, just needs to improve man management. Thomas says, I love your cat, Danielle.
Oh, she's lush, isn't she?
It's a cat. Kieran says Mourinho would be welcomed into St James's Park by his. He would. Tangy's going 4-2 to Newcastle. What is going on here?
Son, Howie.
What is going on? Spurs Savage looks very, very disappointed, obviously, that 2 of the main players will not be in the Spurs lineup.
That's how we feel every game under Bruce, though, isn't it? Like, disappointed before we play.
Nick says, no, we're not getting 3-0, but I'd fancy us to beat them. Pedro says, Paul, I hear they have changed the kickoff to 6:10. Do you know what? It's £6.10 now. When my speeding fine comes through, it's going to be that. And
you know what it is, Paul? You're going funny colour at the minute.
Danielle, do you realise how hot it is under these lights?
Oh,
these studio lights, plus the fact I've got no. Plus the fact I have got serious man flu going on here.
I know, you need to get some Albasol, man.
I've got a throat that is scratching worse than tracing paper on my arse when I was at school, right? And a chest which just feels like I have a blob of phlegm stuck in my throat, which needs to be.
Oh, you need some Cavonia. That's what you need.
Cavonia.
Get some Cavonia. You'll be fine. Obviously other medicines are available.
Yes, thank you very much for that. But if any medicines want to sponsor the channel, please email us at the bottom of the description. What Toon fans saying is Newcastle historically modern day and overall England 8th biggest club today, or what fan base and all included? Listen, we will be the biggest. We will be the biggest eventually. Supporters will be the difference.
Exactly.
Life Goes says Paul, Danielle, and I will pay a third each of your fine.
Balls off.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
On some of Mandy's payroll, you can have it.
Exactly. £6.10 groceries in Iceland. Thomas, you can kiss my backside, mate. Paul says, looks like the only 3 points this weekend will be going to Paul.
Oh, dear.
Oh, here they come.
Yeah, we go.
Yeah, here we go. Weird how Gilles is number 6 and Son is number 10. Are they really? Is Son number 10?
If that's true.
I'm sure he was number 7, wasn't he?
Hang on.
Nah, that's not true.
Can't be.
No. 2-1 to the Toon says George. Tony says I've got scurvy. What the hell is scurvy?
No, you haven't got scurvy, man. You've got flu.
Definitely haven't got scurvy. Look, there's big bright lights shining on us as well, right? Paul says I've got the same mate, bad throat and bunged up sinuses. Welcome to the club. Ian says for £6.10 you can get a small kebab and chips at my local. Thomas, I'm not even reading that out. You have a serious problem with that kind of shit. Paul needs Calpol. Listen, Calpol is the shit. Right?
Oh, it's the bomb.
It is.
It is.
Never been 0-0 since 1971. Exactly.
Well,
so.
actually, hang on. I've been doing my homework. You see?
Oh.
Look. I've been doing
wow,
homework and
Danielle's
everything.
done some homework for the show.
So, the last 10 meetings
Yeah.
of Tottenham versus Spurs, we've won 3.
Yes.
We've drawn 2 and we've lost 5.
Wow.
So it's pretty split in terms of, coming away with something.
Listen, you never know. You never know.
Could the Mandy effect
I mean, I've got to try and communicate with Mandy on Sunday to tell her to
But I'd like to go start, please, for doing
you.
some homework.
Damn right. Definitely. Honestly, though, I feel like Spurs will win 2-1. Bruce will head off and there'll be someone reasonable lined up, or Graham Jones. NG vlog N7. Not sure what that means. £6.10. Is that a score? Jesus Christ. Kane is number 10. Exactly. So it can't be.
Yeah.
2-1 to the Toon. Up the Saudi mag, says Geordie. Hi, Paul. I set my trip computer to 49 miles per... Paul. Right. I set mine to 50. That is 1 miles an hour difference. And 50 miles an hour is the speed limit through the roadworks. I set my speed to 50. My cruise control is set to 50. I don't touch it. It stays at 50. There was no traffic on the road at that time of night anyway. So it was just going 50. And they've said I was doing 58. So who am I yet to believe? I'm yet to believe the stupid cameras, which try and take money off everybody, or believe my car, which told me I was doing 50 miles an hour. That is the dilemma. Son and other players' numbers come to 6.10, not their shirt number. Lemon juice, ginger, and apple cider vinegar would be good for you, Paul. Wow. Okay.
Hot lemonade.
Oh, Strepsils are working a treat for me. Yes, Son is out with COVID. I used to love the taste of Calpol. How did we get onto this? How do you think the club will invest in the community?
Probably through the foundation at first, because they need some investment, bless them. The stuff that they're doing, and not just with like football stuff, but things in the community for kids that haven't got great employability skills and stuff. I think that's really, really important. So hopefully they'll invest in that side, and really support the foundation, unlike Mike Ashley, who didn't really.
Menthol and eucalyptus inhalation and a bowl of hot water and towel over the head.
That's right.
Paul.
Steam bowl. That's what you need.
Yeah. You've just reminded me of the torture of tracing paper on my arse at school.
Oh, God,
I brought my own. Oh, it was terrible when your fingers went through it as well. Guess who's a closet Mackham? Says Stady Mashade. Not sure. Best for a cold is whiskey. Oh, yeah. Hot toddy. Hot whiskey.
Yes.
Hot whiskey and lemonade. Ah. Danielle, the analytic. Hey.
Dummy.
Yes.
Hey, look. Dummy homework today.
Damn right. Damn right. Daniel Marshall says, hi, Dad. Who's Daniel Marshall? And who's he saying hi, Dad to? I don't know any. I don't have a son called Daniel. No. Okay, moving on. Paul and Danielle, my first game ever was Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle, and Toon hadn't drawn 0-0 for 76 matches under Keegan. You can guess what the score was.
Mine was a 0-0 as well against AS Roma in 1999.
Dear. ASM to score Rabona and replicate the Lamella goal. Oh, that would be quite nice. Shut up with the £6.10s. I'm not well enough to deal with the £6.10s tonight. I think the buzz around the stadium we will have a good go. 3-2 to the Toon. St James's Park is home, says Paul. Bruce going to deploy the 6-1-0 formation. Abigail, thank you for that. These are all comedians. Love the homework from Danielle. 2-1 to the Toon. How are the lads? Martial can play wing and striker. Should be great from when Wilson isn't fit. Paul says speed readings in cars aren't accurate. They're about 3 miles per hour
now,
off,
haven't we?
so you can actually do 3 miles an hour over. Fair enough. Not 8, mate. Not 8. I'm not having it. Paul, does it cost you £6.10 to get to them? I don't like that. What car you got, Paul? Because you want to take it up with the manufacturer. I have a Toyota CHR, brand new. So yeah, it's a very good car. And Toyota's very, very, Japanese company, never let you down apart from this occasion. And Amy me Satnav, of course, for taking me on the M6 toll. Spurs says, just subscribe, guys. Good luck on Sunday. We are going to need it. Thanks very much, matey. Good luck to you guys as well. There is a ball as my PFP. What? Who is this guy? Never mind.
No, I don't know.
I love Calpol. Cameras ain't always right for sure.
No.
Nice one, Ronald. I agree. Appeal, you have a 6 to 10% leeway on pint of Calpol at the match for Tony. Not if I am sick, though. Lewis says, believe your car speedometer because they should give you 10% of the speed limit. Thank you, Lewis. £6.10 for Calpol. Thomas, if I ever find you, I'm going to hunt you down. Lemon and hot water and add some honey will sort you out. Chicken soup heals all wounds.
It does.
Geordie, I drive blue lights. Do bright weeks. I also have Trimble fitted them. I'm not bullshitting. What about £10.6? The CHR version 6.10? No! It's not a 6.10. Why is everyone talking about Calpol? Because I have man flu, right, George? Man flu. And Correct. It's crippling me, but I still turned up to do the show tonight because I wanted to put a show out for you guys. Unlike John Sinclair, who does a show that you can't even sudden comment on. Love you, John. But yeah, it's been fantastic viewing figures again tonight, between 250 and 300 people watching it all the time, brilliant. Which is superb. So thank you very much for that. Dave Harrison, but at the 250 miles an hour plus 10% plus 2 miles an hour equals 57, too close to call. Look, are you on my side or what, Harrison? I shouldn't. No, Dave, I didn't mean that, matey. I know that you may punch me again on Sunday, so I'm just going to, I will not slag you off. Thomas, I don't know what the oh my gods are to you, Danielle, but there you go. Danielle, he's after a casserole off you, lol.
Hey, I've got one in the slow cooker downstairs.
See. Paul, sorry to ask, but did you have to pay £6.10 return, or was it £6.10? No, because Amy, me sat-nav, took me a different way coming home. So there you go. John's a legend, says Nigel.
That would have been awful, mind, if you had to pay £6.10 both ways. Jesus.
Mornings and evening is always the worst for me when I'm unwell. Like I'm a clip right now. Or join the club, Paul. I'm just turning into a puddle here. I'm sitting in a puddle.
You're a shadow of your former self, Paul. I have to say.
Right, listen. I'm still going though. I'm still doing the show.
You did, you trooper.
We're rattling for a thimble of Calpol. The cat, Paul. Oh my God, the cat! It's a cat.
Aye, it's not just a cat.
Jan says, I feel Spurs are the unlucky ones to play Toon first after all of this. Yeah. Right. So Danielle's going 3-0 to Newcastle United. And my score prediction is 3-0 Newcastle United. So, yes, I took the mickey out of Danielle, but I went for the same score prediction.
Get in!
I believe it'll play into our hands on Sunday. And certainly now that Son and Gilles are out, I really believe that this one is our day. Paul Gallant says 4-2. That'll do. as long as we get 3 points.
Literally,
to be honest,
though, from my
not
point of
bothered.
view, have a mint time on Sunday because obviously I'm not going to the game. So cheer extra loud, please, for me.
I'm not sure what condition I'm going to be in, Danielle, if I'm honest. You know, I may be absolutely up to the eyeballs on paracetamol and ibuprofen and Lemsip and everything else that goes with it. So I may be there.
Oh, get some night nurse.
Night nurse.
Yeah.
There you go. I could even do the
Get your
advert.
Susan to get down the chemist.
Listen, I don't know what I need. I just need
some beef and ale casserole.
Beef and ale. My God. Wow.
Newcastle brown ale as well.
That sounds like the stuff. That sounds the stuff.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, you know, whatever way, I need survival because my throat is, it feels like I've just swallowed sandpaper, to be honest. It's that type where you swallow and it feels like it's ripping the back of your throat apart. Anyway, I'm battling on, guys. I'm still here. But that is the end of the match preview. Thank you very much again to Perchy for coming on for the first part of the show and talking about Tottenham Hotspur. We wish him all the best after Sunday, of course, because we need to win on Sunday. We really do. If we're being honest, we need 3 points. We need to get this season up and running because if we don't win on Sunday, we're still stranded without a win. And I don't think it's going to be a very pleasant experience for Steve Bruce if we fall too many goals behind. So I think that the longer we fight for, the better chance we've got of keeping it a decent atmosphere for the full game. But
definitely,
hey-ho, we will have to wait.
And everyone that's
see.
going, have a mint time, like enjoy every second because this is going to be something that we haven't experienced for a long, long time. So enjoy every moment of it.
Definitely. As usual, I'll be alongside the club shop at least an hour before the match, probably a lot earlier. All the guys will be there. Adam will be there. Peter, John Sinclair, my God, making an appearance. So if you do want John Sinclair's autograph, you know, I'm sure he'll come ready with his bum bag full of selfies and signatures and stuff. So it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Paul. Yeah, he will. He'll
so he can fix his YouTube.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, actually. But guys, listen, have a fantastic weekend. And if you're going to the match, hopefully I'll see you there. Come and say hello. And hopefully we'll get 3 points. I'll be back on Monday night with the, actually, I might put out the review video on Sunday night, depending on what time I get home and see if I've got time to do it all. Yeah, but we'll see about that. If not, that'll come out on Monday. That'll just be a pre-recorded one. I'll be back live with the Four Horsemen of the Tune on Monday night. Barry's working this week, so Billy Trey will be taking over from Barry, so it'll be great to have Billy on the show. So it'll be Peter, John, and Billy joining me for that. And then Danielle, you're back with me on Tuesday night for the fan forum. Hopefully, it's a very positive fan forum with celebrating 3 points in a fantastic event at St. James's Park on Sunday. But like I say, have a great weekend. Have a fantastic time at the game if you're going. And we'll see you next week, guys.
Get well soon as well.
Well, I'll try. You know, man flu's terrible, but I will. Thank you, Danielle. Right. Good night, everybody. And thanks for tuning in again. Thanks for all the super chats. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Night.